Welcome into Moving the Chains. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got a great interview lineup today. We got the head coach of the Catawba Copperheads, Zac Lendyak. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys? Appreciate you taking some time to talk with me.
We're doing well as well. Appreciate your time. So we know you're busy this week with everything going on, but if this is you guys' first time tuning in, appreciate you doing that. Check us out, movingchains.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. All at Moving Chains there. So, Coach Lendyak, you're in your fourth year here as the head coach of the Copperheads. You guys are 10-1 on the year, finished second, reached 3-4A. Let's talk about your coaching career. How did you get started, and where were you before Catawba Ridge?
Yeah, so I spent my whole career in the Fort Mill School District. I was over at Nation Ford High School. School opened in, I want to say 2007, and I was lucky enough to get over there about 2008 with the first head coach, Rusty Jester, and just stuck around. And when Mike Allen took over, and he kind of brought me along with him and worked my way up to his offensive coordinator, and it was always a dream of mine to be a head coach. And then, with Fort Mill growing as fast as it has, they had to build a third high school. So I figured, man, what a great opportunity to not have to sell the house, not have to move, and stay in a great school district. And lucky enough, got the job here and off and running with it.
So let's take a look back. Last week, you guys had a nice victory in the first round of the playoffs, a 63-28 win over Riverside. What allowed you to be successful on Friday night?
I think the way our offensive line played, they've been getting after it all year. And when you can run the ball north of 400 yards in a game, you're probably going to have a pretty good chance of winning it. And that was without our starting running back. So to have a couple young guys step up and get in there and still have that success, Ira Mister had a phenomenal game, and Tyler Fickus running it. And the O-line giving us time up front. And we knew Riverside is pretty potent on offense and they could score. So we needed to put points on the board, but at the same time, keep them off the field. If they weren't on the field, they weren't able to score on us. So kind of a mixture of everything, and execute the game plan about as well as we wanted to.
Coach, for folks who haven't seen you guys play, what kind of is your style on offense and defense? And do you call plays for either side of the ball?
Yeah, I call the offensive side. I do have an offensive coordinator and Coach Runyon who sets up game plans, and really it kind of turns into a by committee. I got some trusted coaches in Mike Lewis and Jordan Helms and Alan Runyon that bounce ideas off of one another. And Jordan used to play for me, so he kind of thinks the same way I do, and it's good to have sets of eyes. So I call the plays offensively. Offensively, we're trying to be a very sound, safe offense. We want to take shots when we can, but our mindset is first downs equal touchdowns. If we can move the chains appropriately with the show here, but that's really what you want to do. Keep the other team off the ball, and we've been able to run the ball really well this year. That's a credit to Coach Dwayne McClain and Bruce Campbell on the offensive line as well. And then defensively, for years we've been pretty good the last 4 years. And my defensive coordinator Chris Rust, he gets those guys dialed up, and they play really sound assignment football. They fly to the ball, and we love that because those are things you can control. Be in the right spot. When the ball's there, go make a play, fly to the football. And that's kind of what we try to do on both sides of the ball.
Coach, we take this opportunity to get to know you and your background. Want to know, are there any coaches on the college pro level, or maybe that you've coached with on the high school level, that you would say influence your style, especially as you came up as an offensive coordinator?
Yeah, it's funny. Yesterday at practice, one of the kids even asked me, Coach, how'd you design the offense? We all know that a lot of football is you steal good stuff from good coaches, and it comes from everywhere. Whether you're watching the game Saturday, you're watching film on a Friday night, you're watching an NFL game Sunday. You try to take some stuff, but I spent a lot of time at Nation 4 with Coach Mike Allen, so obviously he has a big influence. And on the national level, two people. One, Tony Dungy, the way he went about doing things. I'm real big on spending time with family. I'm not a big believer in that you've got to meet 5-6 hours on Saturday and 7 or 8 hours on Sunday. We get in and we meet. But man, we want to be well-rounded coaches, but better husbands and fathers. And I tell my guys all the time, and if you got a flag football game to go to or a dance recital for your daughter, you better be at those types of things. And so we try to create that family atmosphere. And then of course, I'm a big Steelers fan, and Mike Tomlin always kind of has that next man up mentality. And we showed that last week with our starting running back going down and Ira Mister stepping up, or early in the year, our starting quarterback went down and a couple of other quarterbacks stepping in. You just got to create a program where the expectation is that no matter who it is or what the situation is, that we're going to play Catawba Ridge football.
You guys are averaging 39 points on offense, giving up only 15 on defense. You mentioned a couple guys already, but who are some more other guys that have really helped you guys play so well this season?
Yeah, defensively, our defensive line gets after. We have two guys that have really stood out, and Jake Signs, and he's a junior, and sophomore Rashawn Maraja. They play really hard for Coach Wayne Richardson and Calvin Jones. They get them dialed up. And then defensively, man, we got a 4-year starter at linebacker with Brody Tessamali. He's made the North-South All-Star game. And he's like having an extension of our defensive coordinator on the field. He makes sure everyone's where they need to be and set. He was out last week as well. So we're looking like we'll get him back, and that's huge. It's like kind of losing your quarterback off the defense. And then in the secondary, you got guys like Grant Lovett and Jordan Gilliam and Donnell Williamson making plays. Evan Hamilton putting pressure on the quarterbacks off the edge. So I could name them all because really they all play their position great. And then offensively, mentioned a bunch of them, but kind of starts there with the offensive line again. And then Tyler Jones running the ball with Tyler Fickus 100% healthy and getting more and more reps at that quarterback position. You can kind of see what we've kind of envisioned for this offense since the season began.
You mentioned helping starting the program at Nation Ford, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the first and only head coach at Catawba Ridge. What's it like starting that program from scratch, and what were you able to bring over from Nation Ford to help be successful here?
Yeah, so starting the program was really exciting for me because you get to create the culture. My AD told me pretty quickly, he said, hey, listen, if this thing doesn't work, we got no one to blame but ourselves. You can't say, hey, the previous guys had this thing in shambles and it took us forever to figure, like it was whatever we do. So, to create the traditions and to set a standard where, from the head coaching standpoint, you got to make some tough decisions. And I always try to think like, man, if I let this happen this way, it's going to happen this way forever. So we better know real quickly what we want to be about, what kind of team we want to be, both on the field, off the field, in the classroom. So that part's been challenging, but it's been fun to kind of finally see where we're at. And we didn't hide from the fact that it was going to be tough. We didn't have seniors that first year. We went 2-7 and we were getting smoked by most teams we played. But we kind of had that message to the kids, like no other team in the state will have all 22 starters coming back. And you bring that whole group back, and then you saw we made the upper state championship that second year. So we've just built it, and you bring from Nation Forward the type of athletes that you get here. When they can learn how to play the way that we do, you can have a lot of success with that. So to learn to play within ourselves and not try to be somebody that we're not.
So you guys had some key players graduate last year, as well as some other ones also kind of lead the program. You almost came in a little bit overlooked, this season. Did you guys kind of use that as motivation at all rolling into the 2022 campaign?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. We lost some great guys, both to graduation or transferring out, and all of them are fantastic young men, but we knew we had a special group. And I think playing football in the town of Fort Mill, when you're right next to the Rock Hill schools, and all credit to them, Football City USA, they're going to get the attention as they should. But for us, hey, we're out here playing football too. We're working just as hard as everybody else. So yeah, as a head coach, you're always kind of looking for those things to drill home to your guys. And at the beginning of the year, we weren't anywhere in the ranking, really know what schools have coming back, but we've definitely used some of that motivation to go out and just prove to teams that, hey, man, it doesn't matter who we have here, what we're doing. We're going to do things the Catawba Ridge way.
You mentioned that you realized that this was a special group. At what point was it? Was it during the off season or in the season that you realized, hey, we can really get some things accomplished here?
It was the off season with the workouts. We made a hire at strength coach with Shane Sweeting, and he has been a difference maker for our program. So, since January, those kids have been showing up at 7 a.m., getting in the weight room every day. And, we'd show up and you'd see how many are there. In the first couple of days, you're like, man, we've got this many kids in here, but it'll die out because it's cold in the morning, it's tired, it's excited. But every day they kept showing up and showing up and showing up, and just the work ethic. I was like, hey, we might be on to something here. And then, when you start spring ball and the summer workouts, and it just never waned. They're here every day. They're working hard. They're coachable. So we got a pretty special group of kids, and we're excited to see that it's playing out the way that we thought maybe it could have.
You guys have a great nickname for your home field there with the Pit. What's the atmosphere like on a Friday night over there in Fort Mill?
Man, we love it. It is great. We love the community support. We have a state championship band, so congratulations to them that are playing there every night. We try to go out and do a lot in the community. We take the boys to the local elementary schools to open up classroom doors, car doors when the kids are getting out, and doing some of that. We host youth football camps to try to get the kids. So you got kids and parents coming. There's a neighbor across the street that he goes out and buys his own fireworks, and he shoots off fireworks when we score touchdowns. I'm not sure any other high school that has a fireworks display after the scores, so our goal is always to make him run out of fireworks on a Friday night, but he's shooting them off. And, the community support and the love, the community seems to rally around us. So, we're just trying to do right by the town of Fort Mill and make them proud of what we're doing.
Our platform is built on social media, so it's very important to us, but it's also very important to you guys as you try to gain exposure. You use the hashtag #BeTheWhy. What does that mean to the Catawba Ridge program?
It's something that I created years ago, sitting in a church service, listening to my pastor. And I knew I wanted to have something when I got a chance to become a head coach. Everybody has a saying, everybody has something. I just didn't want it to be something that the team broke down in the huddle, they yelled, and then you didn't live it out. So Be the Why is I'm a firm believer that when people understand why they're doing what they're doing and not just what they are, right? Who they are, why are you doing it? Why are you playing football? Why are you a football coach? Why do you guys run this program? Like all those kind of things. So then the why is an acronym. And we want to do this in 3 areas of our life: on the football field, in the classroom, and then out in the community and our relationships. So the W stands for you got to be willing. You have to be willing to do what is asked of you. So if coach asks you to move from wide receiver to safety, to go from quarterback to tight end, to be a backup, you have to be willing to do that, do what's best for the team. No different than if you become a father, right? You got to be willing to get up at 2 a.m. and change those diapers. You might not want to do it, but you got to be willing to do it. The H is then if you're willing, you got to do it with all your heart. You got to give 100% everything you do. Because if you say, yeah, I'll do it, but then you show up and you only do it about 50%, you shouldn't have done it in the first place because it's not benefiting anybody. So when we go open up car doors, I said, I know it's 7 a.m, it's cold, it's rainy, but you better be the most excited kid because those little kids, they care about the Catawba Ridge football player open up the car door. So do it with all your heart. And then the why is you got to do it year after year. Life is about being consistent at what you do. It doesn't mean it's always going to be easy and going to be great. There are going to be ups and downs, but showing up and continually putting in the work and trying to be the type of person that you want to be pays dividends in the end. And again, it's not always roses. It's not always going to be happy-go-lucky. There's going to be some struggles, but football emulates life, and life's overcoming adversity and overcoming struggles. So that's where Be the Why comes from.
Well, Coach, we've got a couple easy ones for you here before we let you go. Maybe it's on the bus ride down on Fridays or sitting in your office or whatever it is. What's on your pregame playlist when you're trying to get ready for that game?
Oh man, it's funny. I listen to some old school country, man. I'm Conway Twitty and Johnny Cash, and I'm a huge Dwight Yoakam fan, which is kind of funny. So the boys don't let me get a hold of the speaker in the locker room too often because of that. So I don't even know what they're listening to. I try to just step out of the room when they do it. But man, I listen to country music, and then other than that, that's pretty much it. I don't get into too much other stuff, but they don't let me have a whole lot to do with the music.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're over there in Football City, USA, so this should be an easy one. What are some of the toughest and coolest environments you've been able to play or coach in?
Oh yeah. I mean, shoot, being in South Carolina, originally from Pittsburgh, you get to see some really cool stadiums, some really cool environments, some really cool setups. Going to District 3 a couple of weeks ago. I mean, there's a lot of good football that have been played on that field. The tradition at Northwestern and South Point have, and I know South Point plays on their home field there. So anytime you go play those schools, when they've put, I can't even tell you how many guys in the NFL or major college football. So that's really neat. We went down a couple years to Greer. They hopped on the bus and kind of did the trip around the stadium. That was pretty cool, running out with the smoke. So that's kind of neat. I'll tell you one of the coolest places that we played my first year. We went and played at Blacksburg, small school there, just up this side of Gaffney, and they came walking down through the stands. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. So when you see the tradition of these towns and what high school football means to these communities, just anywhere you go and you see that fan support, it's pretty cool atmosphere.
Typical Moving the Chains food question here for you, Coach. What are some of your favorite spots over there in the Fort Mill area? Jerel and I are big foodie guys. So where are you going for a good meal over there?
Yeah, so we got a place just up the road right next to the school, a Blue Smokehouse. So I'm a big barbecue fan, and man, fired up. And it's hard to get through practice because you're smelling that the whole day. So that smells good. We like that. We get a really good sponsorship from we got a good relationship with the guys at Jersey Mike's. I'm big into subs. Those Philly cheesesteak subs are always pretty good. But my family and I were big into ice cream, and there's a place between us and Nation Ford, the Peach Stand, and they've got some really, really good ice cream. My wife will get mad at me. I don't eat any fruit at all. I hate fruit. I don't eat apples, bananas, strawberry, you name what I don't eat any of it. So the first time she told me we're going to the Peach Stand, I'm like, I'm not going there. I don't, but man, they've got some good ice cream, and I just go straight vanilla. They all get the flavored stuff, but I'm a straight vanilla ice cream kind of guy.
How much do you miss Permanente Brothers and stuff up in Pittsburgh?
Man, true story. When we were having more success and in the playoffs, I even looked at how much it would cost to have Permanente Brothers shipped down here. And then when I saw the cost, I'll skip that. But I'm big on Permanentes. I love a good, no one knows down here, but the pierogies, that's a big thing in Pittsburgh. I'm a big pierogi fan. Permanente Brothers is great. So yeah, anytime we go up there, I try to get up there about once a year to go catch a game. I'll try to make sure I get there to eat for sure.
Last one here, Coach. Friday night, you guys traveled to take on North Augusta, the Yellow Jackets in round 2 of the playoffs. They had a win 26-14 over easily last week. What are some challenges they present, and what will it take to get a dub on Friday night?
Yeah, they're really good up front, both sides of the ball. They're a big physical team. They run the ball kind of similar to we do. Watching their film, they run a lot of the same offensive sets that we do. So it's going to come down to kind of what I alluded to earlier in the game. We got to, in the conversation, we got to get them off the field, and we got to extend drives. Our run defense has to be sound. We have to be gap correct and try to get as many hats to the ball. They got a big running back. We got to get to him, get them off the field, then offensively pick up first downs and take care of the football. If we can move it, put some points on the board early, I feel good about our chances. But man, they're playing really good football. They got rolling there in region. They have a ton of success. So I know Coach Quinn, we played them last year when he was the head coach at Westwood. So him and I've talked a couple times already this week, and knowing him a little bit from last year, he's going to have a really well coached football team.
Awesome. This has been great. Definitely want to listen to go check out Coach Lendyak and the Copperheads program on Twitter, Facebook, etc. They do a great job with highlights and updates. Definitely go follow them on there. Like I mentioned earlier, check us out, movingchains.com, and also on all social media platforms and Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. Joe, anything else for Coach before we let him go today?
Just my typical spiel at the end, man. We wish you continued success. Coach Lendyak, you guys have had a great season so far. We took notice of you guys middle of the season, saw the numbers you were putting up. A hard-fought game in that region championship, so I know it was going to be great for you to build off of there. And just looking forward to what you guys do in the playoffs, especially. I guess it's Saturday now that you guys are going to be playing, and hopefully you have a good time down there in North Augusta.
Yeah, who knows, man? It could be. They might call us and say we're playing tonight. I said as long as we can get down there and play, we'll play. I think it's Friday. It might be Saturday with the wind and the rain. I don't know, but yeah, we played a good region. We felt like our region was maybe the best, if not one of the best in the state. We could just get in the playoffs and see what we do. So, man, I appreciate you guys taking time to talk about us. Anytime we can get out there and promote our kids and let people know about what we're doing here, man. I appreciate you guys taking time to ask us a couple questions.
No doubt. We appreciate you, Coach. Best of luck the rest of the way. Hope to catch you at a game here soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.